Hey guys, it's Melanie. Today I am going to do my follow-up Q&A video on the menstrual cup review that I did. I think it's been either 2 or 3 weeks now. If you missed that original video, I will of course list it down in the description for you. But I was just so blown away by the positive reaction to that video and really honestly kind of appreciated the amount of discussion that was happening in the comment section of that video. So many people were just so helpful in answering other people's questions or came forward and said that they themselves have been using the cup either for a number of months or a number of years and have had a really good experience as well. And one of the reasons that I wanted to do the video on this particular product is because the menstrual cups are not heavily advertised at all, and I don't know why. I mean, I guess I can kind of see advertisement is really an expensive thing, and you know, a lot of the tampon companies will buy ads in magazines such as Cosmo, Allure, Vogue, or they will buy ads on TV, and so that's what most people know. You know, you know about pads, you know about tampons, but surprisingly, so many women didn't know about the menstrual cup, or that it was actually really easy to use, and for a lot of people, a lot easier to use instead of pads and tampons. So I was just very thankful for the amount of discussion that was taking place in the comment section of that video, and just how great you were about, you know, the feedback with putting this type of video out there, because it's definitely not something that a lot of people spend a lot of time talking about. I don't think it's a taboo subject, but I think it's one that most people choose maybe not to focus on that much. So thank you for the positive feedback on that video. So today I want to go ahead and answer a lot of the questions that I saw in the comments section of that video, and also some of you messaged me privately with your questions as well. So I just wanted to go ahead and address some of the most common questions, because there were certainly things in that video that I didn't have time to touch on. So one of the most common questions that I saw was, what about changing the cup in public, whether it's the Lunette, Diva cup, whatever cup you end up choosing? Here's the thing. As long as you change that cup, clean it out, reinsert it, before you leave your house, you should not need to change it at all, especially if you are going to be gone for only 4, 5, 6 hours, or even a solid work day. If you work between 8 and 12 hours, you should actually be good in that time frame to not have to change it at all. And I'm not even kidding, because most of you are thinking well, I have to change my tampon every 4 to 5, 6 hours. And so how is it that I don't have to change this cup? It holds a pretty substantial amount of fluid. You bleed a lot less than you actually think that you do. So you really, I mean, unless it's some severe case where you bleed profusely, and some people do, those of you that do bleed just a ton may need to go ahead and change it while you're out in public, but the vast majority of you should not need to do that. Now, if you do have to, if you say forget before you leave for work in the morning or whatever, it's so simple to just go and buy some unscented, really gentle wet wipes that you would use on your baby's bottom and keep them in your purse. And you don't have to go to the bathroom sink in a public restroom to go wash this thing out. You can simply take one of those wipes, wipe it out, you know, obviously pour the blood out in the toilet, and then wipe it clean and reinsert it then. But the vast majority of you, you're not going to have to do that. You can wait until you get home. The reason that I wanted to try this is because sometimes when I am working weddings, I do have longer days. Sometimes I travel, you know, 100 to 150 miles to deliver flowers, you know, either up and down the Oregon coast, or sometimes up in Washington even. And so I have some long days, you know, and setup sometimes takes me a really long time. And so I needed something that I wasn't going to have to worry about when I was making fuller deliveries, and haven't had to worry about it. It just, as long as I change it before I leave, If I'm not gone for more than like 10 to 12 hours, I'm fine. And I have a pretty decent, I would say, slightly more than moderate flow, especially at the beginning of my period, and then it definitely tapers off. But really, truly, you shouldn't need to change it while you're in public. If you happen to need to do that, that's fine. Just bring along either the unscented baby wipes, or you can even purchase wipes from Lunette. I bet that Diva Cup has some wipes as well. There's ways around it, but the vast majority of you shouldn't need to do that. So if that is the only thing holding you back, that shouldn't be a concern at all. If that's the only thing that's keeping you from trying it, put that out of your mind, because it really should not be a big deal. I change the cup in the morning when I am in the shower, and then usually before I go to bed at night. Also, a lot of people have mentioned concerns about leaking. If you insert it properly, it will not leak, because the thing is, when you put this in your body, so you insert it and it opens up, it forms a suction, and nothing is going to get around the outside portion here to be able to leak out. If you insert it incorrectly and it doesn't open all the way, yes, you can get some leaking if there's a little bit of a gap here, like you see right here. And, you know, it might be for the first couple times you may have a little bit of leaking until you learn how to properly insert and how to just know when it's in there correctly. And it's honestly something that you just learn, right? You have to practice with it. That's the big thing. Also, some people were worried that when you lay down, the blood is going to come spilling out and back inside of you. It's not going anywhere. If it does happen to like come out of the cup, it's just going to sit in there. And when you stand back up, it will go into the cup again. And then when you go to remove the cup, it'll be in there, and you'll pour it out into the toilet and you'll be good to go. It can't go back up inside you. Anatomy doesn't work that way. So, it's not gonna go anywhere. So if that's a concern, don't worry about that. Another thing that I wanted to mention is some people, have their anatomy is different, and this might ride up a little bit higher inside of you, and it might be kind of hard to grab a hold of it to be able to change it. If you think your vagina is a black hole and this thing is gonna like disappear in there, it's not. It doesn't work that way. It can't go anywhere. But some of you may need to use some of your muscles. And I'm talking about the same muscles that if you've ever given birth that you use to push out your baby. That will actually, when you bear down like that, it will work the cup down inside of you, and you'll be able to easily grab these little grippers here, and you'll be able to break the seal. That's one thing I do want to say, is you don't just pull this thing out. There is a suction in there, and you'll kind of feel like you're pulling your insides out if you're trying to get this out before breaking the suction. All you have to do is squeeze this. That breaks the suction inside of you, and it just releases and you remove it. It's very simple. It's not painful at all, and this is not going to get lost inside of your vagina. There's nowhere for it to go. It's gonna be in there somewhere, and as long as you are able to use those muscles to bear down and move the cup down, you'll easily be able to remove it. So don't worry if you can't feel the stem and it's worked its way up a little bit higher than maybe it does for other people. That's not a big deal. That's just naturally where it's meant to be. Another question I got was, can you feel it inside of you? Not at all. No, I actually feel this way less than I felt tampons, because tampons would move inside of me. This doesn't move. Like, it doesn't shift. Nothing. It stays in place. It creates that suction, and it is in there, and it is not moving. So no, I cannot feel it at all. Some of you may need to trim this stem because you have a different anatomy from me, and this might stick out. Just trim this, not a big deal. That's what it's there for. Some people do use this to initially help to pull it down a little bit to be able to break that seal. I don't recommend doing that, and the company doesn't recommend relying on this either. use your muscles. Your muscles work just fine. And especially if you have given birth to a child, you know what that feels like to bear down and to push the baby out. It's the same muscles. So, you know, it's not lost. It's not uncomfortable. You just bear down, take it out. Doesn't feel weird. Doesn't feel odd. Just something that you totally get used to. I did have someone ask me if this is something that I would recommend for my own daughter, and absolutely. When Stella comes of age and she starts her period, I will present all of the options that are out there at that point in time, and I will let her choose. I would love it if she would use a cup, and they do make them in smaller sizes for younger ladies. So, you know, if she wants to use a cup, then use a cup. If she would like to use tampons, then we'll have a very serious discussion about how frequently she needs to change those. Because again, like, the risk of toxic shock syndrome really freaks me out, because I have known 2 women now in my personal life that have gotten it from tampon use. And that is honestly too many, especially since toxic shock syndrome is actually pretty rare. So, you know, I don't think it's all that rare if I know 2 people that have gotten it, and that just scares me. I had some people ask if it is sanitary and if you can reuse this. Yes, you can actually reuse this for as long as the silicone is in good shape. Now, Lunette does say you should replace it yearly. I'm not planning on replacing it yearly because it's just fine. As long as there are no tears or anything like that. Some people have reused these for 6 to 10 years. Is it sanitary? Absolutely. You should be washing your hands before changing your tampons or pads, and after anyway. It's the same thing with this. You just wash your hands before, wash your hands after. It's absolutely sanitary. As far as cleaning this, I have found that a really mild unscented baby shampoo is the best route for me. You can certainly purchase a cleanser specifically designed for this, but you want something that is completely fragrance free. There should not be any perfumes in and around that area or going up inside of you. So just anything, any like face wash or body wash or shampoo that is unscented is a great option. For me, an unscented, like super gentle baby shampoo has worked the best, and I just keep that in my shower, and that's it. It's really, really simple. Let's see some of the other questions here. There's just so many people that have said that they have used it and just love it so much. Somebody asked if their uterus tips backwards, if they can use the cup. Honestly, I think in that case, maybe talk to your gynecologist first. I'm certainly not a doctor of any kind. But if I had any problems with my uterus, I would absolutely consult with my physician first. I have a pretty average uterus from what I've been told. So for me, I just kind of went for it, and it has worked out really great. But if you do have any questions, then you really need to talk to a physician about it. But I would say most people can probably use this. You know, just talk to your doctor and try it. If it doesn't work, you know, just it's not going to work for you. And that may be the case for some people. So just know that. Let's see here. What else? Sorry, I should have written the specific questions down, but when you pull it out and this was actually a really good question. So when you are changing it and say you're sitting on the toilet, someone had a question about where do I put it after I rinse it out and clean it, and maybe while you're taking care of other things, where do you put it? Get a square of toilet paper and put it at the side of your sink and just set it on there until you're able to reinsert it. Another thing you can do is just have a cup that is specifically next to your sink for your menstrual cup and just stick it in there. I just use a square of toilet paper, and that protects this after I wash it out. Now, here's the thing. my toilet is right next to my sink, so it's very easy for me to, you know, empty this and then sort of lean over and do like an initial rinse. And then I go ahead and set it on the side of the sink. And then when, you know, I'm done, I will get up, I'll go ahead and just wash this out really quickly and then reinsert it. I have not found that there is blood like pouring out of me during that time. I mean, I hate to be graphic, but like, I mean, obviously these are things that you like think about, right? So I don't have a problem with that, just standing at the sink and washing this really quickly, because it's like, it's less than a minute task, and then, you know, you're able to reinsert it after that. In terms of insertion, you know, I have found actually, now that I've been using this for a few times now, this C-fold really seems to work the best for me in terms of having it open inside of me. Sorry. I did just boil this, so that was water that came there. Probably kind of gross. I tried this particular fold a number of times, but I found that it didn't work for me quite as well. And then also, if you're having leaks, really try some different folds. You shouldn't be leaking with this at all, so that's something to know. But yeah, I think those were kind of the main questions that I thought I would go ahead and answer. If you have more questions after watching this video, definitely leave them down below and I'll just answer them in the comments section. But I just wanted the vast majority of you to be able to hear some of these answers to some of these questions. But really, truly, I highly encourage all of you to try the cup. It's wonderful. Honestly, it's been such a good investment for me. And this might be TMI, but I think I'm starting to go through the early stages of premenopause. My periods are coming much more frequently than they used to, and so this is honestly saving me even more money now that is happening, because I'm menstruating much more frequently than I ever have in the past. It used to be a once a month thing. It has turned into a twice a month thing for me. I know that I'm really young, but for some reason in my family, like, we just age in some ways very quickly and in other ways not so much. But my mom went through menopause before she was 40 years old, and I am coming up on 40 in a couple years. So it is just about my time. So this is coming in extra handy now, especially. So anyway, there you guys go. I hope that this was helpful. Let me know if you have any further questions down below. And thank you so much for watching and for supporting this video, because I know it's not a super common topic. So I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.